Hi everyone, this is Professor Mayunga and you are watching ERUDIRE Plus, the professional CAD/CAM solution provider. Let's get started. Hello viewers, this is our 27th exercise and we'll be modeling this one using Autodesk Fusion 360. We're having 4 different views. You can see this is the top view, this is front, and this is the sectional 1. Initially we'll plan to make 2 concentric circles of diameter 30 and 50 mm, and that will be extruded symmetrically from the middle plane to a distance of 120 mm, right? And next to that, from the extreme end, we need to make some planes at a distance of 5 mm, and on that plane we need to make again 2 concentric circles of diameter 50 and 65 mm, and that to be extruded again backside to a depth of 10 mm. Next to that, we need to create a plane from the central axis at a distance of 80 mm, and on that plane we need to sketch these concentric circles that to be extruded up to the face of this one. And finally again we need to create another offset plane from this one at a distance of 5 mm, and we need to create these concentric circles of diameter 100 mm and also 50 mm. On that concentric circles we need to provide a circle of diameter 12 mm, and by using circular pattern we need to provide 6 numbers of this kind, and that holes to be removed by using extrusion. And finally at this space we need to provide some kind of chamfer, and also at some specific locations we need to provide some fillet of radius 2 mm, right? So without wasting time, let us start our modeling using Autodesk Fusion 360. So we're planning to make this sketch from the side view, and initially we'll make 2 concentric circles of diameter 30 and 50, and that to be extruded from the middle plane. So without wasting time, let us start our modeling using Autodesk Fusion 360, right? First of all, we need to create a new design, and that can be saved by the name of exercise 27, and we can save it to a specific folder by the name of Fusion. Let us save it. You can see exercise 27 is saved. Now, as I told before, we need to start sketching on right plane. So for circle, right C as a shortcut and create a circle from here. Diameter will be 30 and 50 mm. Right 30, enter. Again for circle, right C and enter. Now the diameter will be 50 mm. Enter. We have drawn 2 concentric circles of diameter 30 and 50 mm, and the dimensions are fully defined as the color is black. So we can finish the sketch, and that to be extruded to a specific depth of 120 mm symmetrically in both sides, right? So starting with extrusion, as a shortcut, enter Q, select the specific areas, and from direction we can select symmetric, and from measurement we need to select the whole length to be extruded by a depth of 120 mm. Done. Now, as I told you before, from the extreme end at a distance of 5 mm, we need to create another plane. On that plane we need to again draw some concentric circles. Let us see the drawing again. So we need to create again 2 concentric circles of diameter 50 and 65 mm at a distance of 5 mm from the extreme right hand side, right? So let us select the specific face, and we need to offset the plane inside by a depth of 5 mm. So construct an offset plane. We can change the direction. It will be minus 5 mm. Done. Now on that plane we need to sketch 2 concentric circles of diameter 50 and 65 mm, right? So plane is selected and start sketching on that. For cycle, right C as a shortcut, and it will be 50 mm, another will be 65 mm. Enter. 2 cycles are drawn, but the drawing is not fully defined, right? So we need to provide specific dimensions. For the middle one, we didn't provide the dimension of this one. This is 50 millimeter. Now the sketch is fully defined, right? Finish the sketch, and we're starting extrusion with the shortcut key Q. Let us select the specific areas and that to be extruded. Let us see the drawing again. That to be extruded backside to a depth of 10 millimeter, right? So we can change the extrusion direction backside, and it will be extruded by 10 millimeter. And we are joining this one with the parent body. Done. Here in this case, we need to provide fillet of radius 2 millimeter, both inside and outside. Let us select the specific edges. Both the curved edges are selected, and we can find a fillet of radius 2 millimeter. Done. Now we need to make a mirror of this one, right? So you can select mirror from here. We need to select that features to be mirrored. So instead of bodies, we can change it to features. These are to be mirrored. Together with this, we need to select the fillet also. You can rotate this one to select the back surface. Both the fillet surfaces are selected. Now we need to select the specific mirror plane. It will be the right plane selected. Okay, done. This part is made. Now we need to start from front plane. From the central axis at a distance of 80 millimeter, we need to create another plane. And on that plane, we need to create some concentric circles, right? And the circles will be having diameter 50 and 30 millimeter like before. We need to start this one, right? So from central axis, we need to create a plane at a distance of 80 millimeter. Okay, right. So starting with construction and offset plane, we need to create a plane offset from the front one at a distance of 80 millimeter. It will be in the negative direction. You can point this one to be minus 80 millimeter. Plane is made. Now on that specific plane, we need to construct two concentric circles of diameter 30 and 50 millimeter, right? Let us select the space and we need to start sketching on that. It will be two concentric circles of diameter 30 and 50 millimeter. Let us apply smart dimension to this one. As a shortcut, write D for smart dimensioning. This one will be having diameter of 30 millimeter, and the external one will be having diameter 50 millimeter. Done. Drawing is fully defined, right? Now we need to finish the sketch and that to be extruded up to the specific surface. Let us finish it, and we need to start extrusion. As a shortcut, hit Q and select the specific areas that to be extruded to a specific surface, right? So from extend type, we can select object, and the object will be this part, right? And we're joining this one with the parent body. So okay, done. Let us see the drawing again, whether it is having a hole or not. Yes, you can see here this is completely whole. So one hole to be made with a diameter of 30 millimeter from here, right? So again, start sketching on that. Create sketch. We need to provide a cycle of diameter 30 millimeter. Done. Let us provide smart dimension to this one as 30 millimeter. Complete. Finish the sketch and that to be extruded to a specific depth, right? So for extrusion, starting with Q as a shortcut key, select the specific areas, and we need to change the direction from here to backside. And here what we'll do is, as extend type, we'll select the object. It will cut material up to a specific object length. Let us select inside of this one, and as an operation we're cutting material. Okay, so it is cut. It is not through, it is cutting up to the first surface, right? You can see. Done. Now we need to see the drawing again. You see here. Now it is better to start from the front view. From this surface, at a distance of 5 mm, we need to create a plane, and on that plane, we need to create two concentric circles of diameter 50 and 100 mm, right? And inside also, we need to create a chamfer of 2 mm at an angle of 45 degree. That means both ways it will be 2 mm. One chamfer to be made inside here, some, right? You can start creating chamfer here. Select that specific edge, and you can put chamfer to this one. We can select chamfer of 2 mm. Done. Right? Fine. Now from here, 5 mm away, we need to create another plane. Select that surface and construct offset plane. It will be in the opposite direction. Change the direction. It will be 5 mm in the negative direction. We are creating one plane. Right? Done. On that plane, we need to create two concentric circles of diameter 50 and 100 mm. Let us see the drawing again. So here we need to create two concentric circles of diameter 50 and 100 mm, and also we need to create one pitch circle diameter of 75 mm, right? So plane is selected and we can start sketching on that. We need to draw two concentric circles. As a shortcut, write C for circle. This one will be 50 mm, write 50 and enter. First one is done. Now we need to draw the second one. It will be having diameter 100 mm. Let us put smart dimension to this one as 100 mm. Made. Now another circle to be made, which will be having PCD of 75 mm. Starting one circle of diameter 75 mm. Done. Now this one will be actually construction circle. So select that circle and hit X. It is a construction line right now. Now on that surface, on that line, along this periphery, we need to create 6 numbers of circles of diameter 12 mm. Right? Let us start sketching here itself. Right? And we can create another specific line. For line, hit L as a shortcut, and we can join this one to this one. And to make this one as a construction line, select that line again and hit X. We need to start creating circles of diameter 12 mm from here, right? As a shortcut, write C for circle. It will be having diameter of 12 mm. Write 12 and enter. Now this one to be patterned as a circular pattern, and we need to provide 6 numbers of this type of circles, right? So create circular pattern. We need to select the object. Object is selected. Now we need to select the center point, right? Select the center point as this one, and we are considering these numbers to be 6. Done. Okay. So 6 numbers of circles we have already made, right? Now we need to extrude this one to a specific depth, right? Let us see the extrusion depth. That to be extruded to a depth of 10 mm, right? And some chamfer to be provided of 0.5 mm at the small holes, right? Okay, let us extrude this one by a depth of 10 mm first. So finish the sketch, and this one to be extruded by 10 mm inside. So for initiating extrusion, let us hit Q as a shortcut and select the specific areas selected that to be extruded in the backside to a depth of 10 mm. And as an operation, we are joining this one with the plane body. Done. Is made. Now something to be made again. Here we need to provide some kind of jumper of distance 0.5 mm And also backside you need to provide a fillet of radius 2 millimeter. Let us see it again. You can see here backside you need to provide a fillet of radius 2 millimeter, and here at the surface of the hole we need to provide a chamfer of 0.5 millimeter. Right? Let us select that specific edges for fillet. That edge is selected. Let's provide a fillet of radius 2 millimeter. Done. Now we need to provide a chamfer at the specific circular edges. Let us select the specific circular edges. We are selecting all these things by control. Selected. Now we can create chamfer on those specific entities, right? We need to create a chamfer of distance 0.5 millimeter. Done. So this is made. This is our object, right? You can see it. To have a better appearance, you can make this one to be made up of brush. To provide appearance, hit A and you can select metallic appearance. We are selecting polish brush. Let us close this one, right? So this is our model. You can see this is a very simple model, and we initiated this modeling from right view. Initially we started two concentric circles of diameter 30 and 50 millimeter, and that was extruded symmetrically from this plane to a specific depth. Next to that we provided a plane from this one at a distance of 5 millimeter, and again on that plane we provided two concentric circles of diameter 50 and 65 millimeter, and again we extruded this one to a depth of 10 millimeter, right? And at these surfaces we provided some kind of fillets. This side also and back side also we provided two fillets of radius 2 millimeter. And finally from this front plane at a specific distance away we made one plane. On that plane we provided these two concentric circles of diameter 30 and 50 millimeter, and that was extruded up to this body, and inside this one we made a hole to make it through this surface. You can see that, right? And finally from this surface again at a distance of 5 millimeter we created one plane. On that plane we created two circles of diameter 50 and 100 millimeter, and also we created a hole of diameter 12 millimeter with a PCD of 75 millimeter, and a pattern was created by 6 numbers, and finally that was extruded to a depth of 10 millimeter. And finally we provided a chamfer of 2 millimeter here at the surface, and also we provided a chamfer on the surface of these holes by 0.5 millimeter. Okay, so with this one we will conclude our 27th exercise. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you again. Bye.
If you like this video, please subscribe and share, and if you have any kind of doubts, please write to me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you again. Bye.